Today we're going to be taking inspiration from the book Where the Wild Things Are to create our own textured wild things. So today we're going to focus on the element of art called texture. Do you know what texture means? Texture is how something feels when you touch it. It might be soft or hard or rough or spiky. The illustrator Maurice Sendak really added lots of texture to his wild things. So we can see fur and feathers, sharp pointy claws, horns, lots of different textures, and to his backgrounds also. So where the wild things live, the tree bark, the leaves. Today we're going to be drawing using different types of lines to create texture to make our own wild things. So these are some examples of texture: furry, slimy, scaly, spiky. And these are some examples of wild things where the person drawing used different types of lines. So we can see bumpy lines and zigzag lines and straight lines to create texture. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, when you're creating your wild thing, you should probably use pencil first. That way you can erase. I'm going to use Sharpie just to speed up the process. So I want you to think about some different animals and what texture they have. Do they have scales? Do they have fur? Do they have spikes? I'm going to show you again some of our wild things. So this one has sort of bird or chicken type of feet, and this one has person feet, so human feet. This one has a furry tail and scaly legs. So I want you to think about some different animals and features that they might have. I think I'm going to make a furry head. So I'm going to use, I think, some zigzag lines to show that my wild thing has a furry head. Now, I think that it should have some ears too. So I'm going to give my wild thing ears. Next thing I'm going to make is the middle of the body. And I think that I'm going to have like a scaly fish type of body. So I'm going to use bumpy lines. I'm using different types of lines because that's how artists help show texture, is with different types of lines. Now I need to add arms and legs if my wild thing can walk. It could have fins if it was swimming, but I think my wild thing is going to have legs. And I think I'm going to have some smooth robot type of legs. So my wild thing has smooth, and I'm using straight lines to show smooth. So my wild thing is half machine, half robot. All right. Now I think my wild thing can fly. So I'm gonna add wings to it. And I think my wings should have feathers, and bumpy lines can show scales, but they can also show feathers. So I've got some wings. All right, now I'm going to add my face to my wild thing. All of the wild things in our book have big yellow eyes and sharp pointy teeth, but I think mine's going to be kind of cute. So I'm going to add a little mouth and some cute eyes. He's looking up there. Now I need to think about, where does my wild thing live? In our book Where the Wild Things Are, they kind of lived in the forest or the jungle. But I think mine is gonna live maybe by a river. I'm gonna keep using my lines to show texture. I've got some grass here with zigzag lines. And behind the grass, I'm gonna have some water. I do have scales on my wild thing. And then in the sky, I think I'll use bumpy lines again to show fluffy white clouds. So that's my whole wild thing. All I used was different types of lines to show my different textures. And you can think about any types of animals, snakes or cats or bears or dogs or bunnies or turtles or any types of animals, and think about the textures they have and the lines that you could use to show those textures.